Ryan Wojtyla, the lucky businessman. The lucky businessman, Ryan Wojtyla.
Today, I will be telling the tale of Timothy Dexter, a shrewd American businessman of the 18th century. Young Timothy was born to a poor family in Massachusetts in the year of 1747. Now, although he was born poor, he was able to receive an education. He took to his studies vigorously and completed them by the age of 8, when he dropped out to be a farmhand with his parents. Timothy, though, was an ambitious young boy. He aspired for great things. He desired a fortune. And he sought out every opportunity he could. At the age of 22, he finally found his chance. He bravely and gallantly married a wealthy widow. And with this small fortune, he bought a mansion and elevated himself to elite status. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, this is where our story begins. This part of American history is a bit troublesome. The American Revolution is in full swing, and this has done nothing for the value of the currency of the time, the American Continental Dollar, which is worthless. It's not worth the paper it's printed on, much to the dismay of the American soldiers being paid in this currency. Now, the elites of the time saw a problem. The last thing they wanted was a bunch of angry, unpaid armed men banging down their door. So they decided to solve this problem before it became one. They bought these worthless bills for fractions of pennies on the dollar, just to appease the men. Meanwhile, Timothy Dexter, newly elite, was desperate to fit in. He had survived thus far by simply copying what he saw the elites do. And buying the bills was no exception. He took to this vigorously and bankrupted himself in doing so. His luck, however, changed at the end of the war. The newfound American government made a promise to thank all of the brave soldiers who had given her her existence. The government promised to buy American Continentals for a whopping 1% of face value. Timothy Dexter heard this, looked at his mountain of cash, and smiled. He had made his fortune. So, what do you do with basically limitless money in the 18th century? Other than, of course, buy the largest house you can find, throw raging parties every night, and build numerous statues of yourself. Well, you found a shipping company. He built a couple of boats to service both Europe and the Caribbean. But there was a problem. He knew not the first thing on how to run a shipping company. So, he asked his good friends, the elites. The elites, however, were not too keen on seeing a real-life rags to riches story before their eyes. So they gave him some advice. They advised him to carry coal to Newcastle. Now, for those of you who aren't laughing, carrying coal to Newcastle is an idiom that to describe a useless task. Because it is, of course, not very profitable to carry coal to one of the world's most prominent coal-producing towns. Timothy Dexter, however, knew nothing of this idiom and took his friend's advice in good faith. He loaded up his ships full of coal and set sail for England. Unbeknownst to all parties, however, there was problems over in Newcastle. The miners had gone on strike, and no coal was being produced. So when Timothy Dexter's ships sailed into port and revealed their stores of coal, he made a killing and sailed back to America with fat profits, much to the puzzlement and wonderment of the elites. Determined to see him fail, the elites next advised him to carry bed-warming pans to the Caribbean, which sold out immediately, not for their intended purpose, but because they were super effective molasses labels. Seeing that the Caribbean had a market for winter gear, he next sent down a shipment of woolen mittens, which were promptly bought up by merchants who happened to be on their way to Siberia. Every single one of Timothy Dexter's business ventures both began and ended in the exact same way. Impossible odds, incredible success. You might be thinking to yourself now, Timothy Dexter, he's a genius, an intellectual, a shipping savant. I am here, however, to dash all such false notions from your mind and prove to you that this man's success was due to luck alone. He wrote a memoir titled A Pickle for the Knowing Ones. Nearly 1,000 words of creatively spelled, randomly capitalized, completely unpunctuated nonsense, ranting on everything from politics to religion to his wife. It was unintelligible. And it sold like hotcakes. There had to be 8 separate printings in order to keep up with demand. Now, with any successful work, there was a healthy dose of criticism to go alongside, primarily with respect to the lack of punctuation. Timothy Dexter responded to this criticism in a very good way, however. He printed a second edition, exact same as the first, with an addition at the end. 13 lines of periods and commas and question marks and exclamation points, with a note to the reader. Please distribute as you see fit. I learned a very important lesson researching the life of Timothy Dexter. Although we were all raised to believe that hard work and determination are the keys to success, Timothy Dexter over here is here to remind us that sometimes the only thing that matters is sheer luck. Mr. Toaster.